Welcome back to PodX. This is me, Ayush Majithia, your guest. Our guest for today is Arjun Meghe. Arjun is the General Secretary of the Bharatiya Janata Yuva Morcha in Mumbai. Arjun also founded an NGO Insaniyat which focuses on women empowerment. Along with all of this, Arjun plays an administrative role at the Meghe Group, which has established a number of educational institutions in urban and rural areas. So, Arjun, I'm really excited to have you. Thank you so much for joining in.
Thank you so much for having me, Ayush. It's a pleasure to be here. I just wanted to correct you with one thing. With Insaniyat, we not only work in the women empowerment space, but we also work in the education space and the sports development space as well.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That is amazing. So, I want to start off with this that, can you give our listeners a quick overview of your journey into politics and how your family background shaped your decisions to drive into this field?
So I'm going to take you back a long way. In fact, so I'm going to take you back to when my dad started his journey. My dad was born in a small village in the Vartha district in Vidarbha called Pavna village, and he came from very very poor background. His dad passed away very early. He was raised by his mom, and he had he had one elder brother, one younger brother, and they were very poor. And at that time, he didn't have money for education. So what he used to do is he used to take books from seniors, repair them, and then go sell them to the juniors. And he would make a margin on that. And he used to collect that money and then pay his school fees. And as he grew older, one of his teachers actually saw him do this. And his teacher actually paid for his eventual schooling and stuff like that. So my dad, at that point in his life, had decided that I need to provide education to every person in the Vidarbha region. I don't want them to go through what I went through. And I think that was the start of his political journey, ideologically at least. But then my dad moved to Nagpur, and I think he joined the Congress as just a normal karyakarta. And over the years, he was, he graduated, and then he started working in LIC as a development officer. And he worked as a development officer for 18 years.
Oh, wow.
And whilst he was doing that, he was doing part-time work with the Congress and with Pawar Saab especially. And he came under the radar with Pawar Saab, and he worked very closely with Pawar Saab at that point. And there was basically on a Friday, Pawar Saab just called my dad up and he was like, Datta भाव तुम्हाला राजीनामा द्यायचा आहे आणि सोमवारी मुंबईला पोचायचं आहे, which directly translates to Datta bhau, you need to give your resignation as a LIC development officer and come to Bombay that time Mumbai now, come to Mumbai on Monday because you're going to be swearing in as a minister. And that's how his journey started. So my dad always thanks his stars, where he's like, no, it's a record that no one in Maharashtra politics has ever gone from just being a karyakarta to becoming a minister.
Correct.
He was then, after you have a time period by law, which you have 6 months, and then he was nominated as an MLC. So he, in fact, his first ever political post was of a minister, and then from there his journey started. So 18 years he was in Maharashtra as a minister. He served as a cabinet minister, he served as a junior state minister, he was the leader of opposition in Maharashtra as well. And he was in Maharashtra for 18 years. And then for about 30 years he was in the parliament. So he was 26 years he was in parliament. He was four terms he was a Lok Sabha MP, and 1 term he was a Rajya Sabha MP. Even his Lok Sabha career was insane because he was elected from 3 different constituencies in the Lok Sabha. So he was elected first from Nagpur, then from Ramtek, and twice from Vartha. And after that he then did a Rajya Sabha term as well, and then again he contested Lok Sabha in 2009, which was his last term, and then he kind of retired in 2014. But for me, that's all I saw my whole life. Every time dad would come home, he would have 100 people
Correct.
just following him. I would I've literally grown up looking at Maharashtra's cabinet in front of my eyes. Like, as I was growing up, we would have stalwarts like Ajit Dada, Pawar Saab, Padma Singh Patil, Prithviraj Chauhan, Ashok Chauhan, everyone coming in and out all the time. And that's the environment I grew up in. And by the time I was born, it was 1994. My dad was in his peak. So what I literally saw was just stalwarts coming in and out, my karyakartas just appreciating my dad all the time. Like, while I was growing up, there would be karyakartas who would be around and they would have tattoos with my dad's name.
Oh.
Saying Datta Meghe mere Bhagwan hai.
Like permanent tattoos.
Permanent tattoos, man. And these are the things that I saw, and I was like, man, this man is my father. So many people around, rich, poor, powerful, are coming here, meeting him, talking to him, listening to him, understanding him. So many people appreciate him. I was like, man, this is it. This is what I want to do. I want to help people. And my dad always told me, man, Arjun, you never run behind money. Never run behind doing good things for people who need help. Help the needy always. And I was like, man, yeah, this is it. It's beautiful to see the command he has when he walks into a room. The whole room is shut. Like, I always tell my friends very jokingly, dude, my dad is like Vito Corleone. You have to see him, man. It's like he sits poised, doesn't talk very loudly. Like, the room shuts up when he has to speak, because his speech is like, he doesn't speak very clearly. He has a rough, heavy voice, so people are like literally picking up words that are falling down, you know. And it's just watching that, I was mesmerized, and I was like, this is it. This is what I want to do in my life. So that was the beginning, where it was inculcated in my mind that this is all I want to do. I never, like, I had blinders, you know, and sometimes maybe it's not the best way, but I was just so focused. I was like, you know, everything I do, I'm going to do for politics. Like, even if you see, I used to play football for school, and I'd scored a goal and stuff like that. So they took my interview, and even in the interview, they asked me, what do you want to be when you grow up? And I was like, man, I want to become an MP just like my father. And I didn't even know, you know, what most of it was. I was like, nahi, mujhe MP banna hai. And it's there. It's like, I can pull it up sometime and I can show it to you. Literally says, MP's son wants to fill his shoes or something like that. There's a whole article. It's still there. My mom has the cutout of it. But yeah, man. So it was always in my mind. But what actually triggered and pushed me in, we were in university, and the Nirbhaya case had just happened in Delhi.
Okay.
And me and the boys had come back on holiday to Bombay, and we were very upset about it. We were like, and it's the first major case like that happened to us when we could understand stuff. You know,
When you could comprehend.
When you could actually comprehend, like, the heinousness of that crime. And we were like, man, we gotta do something, even if it is a little. So we started off Insaniyat just as a movement called Mabhen, where I've been doing martial arts like for the last 10-15 years. So I was like, you know, I'll get my coaches and stuff together,
And you all will train them.
and we'll go to railway stations, and all the people who are passing by, all the women who are passing by, we'll stop them and we will just teach them basic self-defense moves. Where if someone comes to choke you, if someone grabs your hand, if someone is trying to steal your purse, what can you do and what are the quick precautions that you can just learn ASAP so that you can run away from the situation.
Correct.
That was the aim of it. We started off with railway stations and we went into schools, colleges, and we did that. And that was our summer project that we did. And that's where it started. Then when we kept coming back from college, like, man, we need to do more. So we did for 2 years. When we used to coming back in our summer break, we would just do Mabhen. But then after we graduated and we came back, we're like, man, we need to do something more. If we have to make a real difference, we have to do something more. Then we're like, okay, let's register Insaniyat. Then we finally went and registered Insaniyat as a proper NGO. Then we were like, okay, let's work on 3 main things that we want to do. First was women empowerment, because we started with that.
Correct.
So yeah, under the women empowerment umbrella, we started training women in different vocational skills. So right now we've trained over 5,000 women in just the Worli area, uh, in different vocational skills. Whether it's candle making, bag making,
I remember
agarbatti
seeing your
making.
story
Yeah.
also, you putting it up. Very recently, there was also like the products were being sold
Yeah,
which they made.
yeah. So first we started training them.
Correct.
Then I was like, man, let train. And this was way before. This was like while Skill India and all was happening,
beginning.
just picking up. This was 2013-14 time.
Oh wow, that's
Yeah.
very early.
Yeah, like I think 14-15, if nothing. I'll have to check the dates on this thing, but it was around that time as Skill India was just still coming up. One of my friends, Asim Prabhat, he in fact gave me this idea, not on vocationally skilled people. Like, okay, and it was my childhood friend, so I took his advice and it actually worked really well. Because then what I saw that people like even Modi ji, and you had Skill India coming up, and everyone is talking about skilling women and people. So initially we skilled them, but then I was like, man, I've skilled them. Now what?
So you created a platform.
So then I was like, okay, I need to create a deeper platform. Now, what I did, I'm not as, I didn't have resources like the government, but whatever resources I could get and join in and make. So I created a platform called the Jijao Mahila Grahak Pet, where we give women the women we train, we give them a platform free of cost. We create an exhibition for them so they can come and they can sell their products and make a business out of it.
Correct.
We wanted to give them that first step to entrepreneurship. That, okay, come on, you can do it. Go ahead, take the first step. We are there behind you. You don't have to pay for anything. We, in fact, sponsor them at 25% of their raw materials also for some of the women who are like really poor.
Okay.
So we did that also. So then we trained them and they came. And now today we are very happy that we have about 100-150 women that we have trained, given them a platform, and today they have their own business that they have where they are making a good 7,000 to 10,000 rupees a month, which is created, which has lifted their lifestyle, like their living standards by a notch. And as one of the founders of Insaniyat, man, I'm so proud that today I can speak about it so openly and like, in this way. Yeah, so that was our women empowerment part. Then in education, when it comes to education, we do a lot of like, we sponsor kids' education all the way from zero to university. We ourselves have a lot of institutions. We have 27 schools. So my dad's dream of having every school in every district in Vidarbha came true. With now today he has a school in every district in the Vidarbha region. We have schools in New Bombay. We have 4 engineering colleges, 2 medical colleges. This is the work my dad dreamt of and he fulfilled.
Correct.
And today, like as we speak, we are giving free education from 0 to 12 to end of
University.
graduation. We are training 2,000 people every year, free of cost. And that is what I am proud of. Not the number of colleges and schools, but the fact that today we are supporting 2,000 young boys and girls to achieve their dream.
And in a way, you can even say you're supporting their families. Because
Exactly, we are.
the load goes off the parents.
Exactly, because
The
then the
fee
parents can, their fee load, and we're talking about engineering, medical, like
The
all the
courses that are
professional
in
courses,
demand
that are
also.
in demand, that are expensive. So I am very proud of my father, man. Like the things he has done, and with the thought and ideology which he has, which he did it with, he's one of the most admirable people I know, man. And okay, so this was education. Then moving on to sports. In sports, we hold a lot of tournaments for kids, and we do a lot of like coaching in different sports like cricket, football, volleyball, athletics. We coach them in the Worli area itself. So that is the work Insaniyat does. And that was the push I had. Basically, that is my baby that I like. I'm inspired by my father, and he does it on a much bigger scale in the Vidarbha region. I do it on a much smaller scale in Mumbai city,
Correct.
basically. But I'm hoping to someday reach even half of what he's reached, man.
And that's how like you decided you want to enter politics to a certain.
That was my
Those
base for
are-
politics. Yeah,
Correct.
that was my base for politics. And through that, I used that as my base. People started following me. People wanted to join me. They liked the kind of work I did. I gathered a number of people in Worli to, support me in things that I want to do, get done. They liked the way I thought. So yeah, man, the natural progression from the way Insaniyat worked to joining the BJP was a natural progression. So in 2019, I joined the BJP as the secretary of the youth wing for Maharashtra,
Okay.
and I worked in that for about 6 months. Then I was promoted to the father body in 6 months. That was the vice president of the South Bombay district. And then again, the youth wing called upon me, and this time they called me upon a much bigger role as a general secretary for the youth wing in Mumbai. Yeah. And so for the last 4 years, I've been serving my term as the general secretary for Mumbai.
Well, there was this thing you spoke about, like, do you ever, okay, for me, I have always had this fear where will I be able to fill my dad's shoes? I'm always afraid what happens if I make things worse.
Yeah, see, I'm scared of making things worse for sure. But I've just been brought up in such a environment where I'm not judged for filling my dad's shoes. Like, my dad's shoes are very big to fill, and I hope someday I can, and I know that'll make him proud, and that is my goal. But there's no pressure per se, man, that I have to do anything, and I don't work under pressure, to be very honest. So yeah, there's no pressure that I have to be like, okay, now I have to work to fill my dad's shoes, or log kya kahenge and all. It doesn't
Yeah, so
matter.
you don't let society
No,
pressure
no,
you.
I don't.
Yeah, I think that's where I go wrong.
Yeah, you can't.
I
man, you
mean,
can't
I've
let
always
that.
been thinking, what happens, what will other people think if I can't live up to my dad's legacy?
It doesn't matter what other people think, man.
So
You
that's-
have to live your life in your shoes and not in anyone else's shoes.
Uh-huh.
I mean, the guys who are going to be judging you, they are not in your shoes, right? They are also in their shoes doing their thing. So you can't let these things affect you. It's going to happen. People will talk, but it's how much you let it affect you and how much you don't let it affect you.
And what I also realized is over time that it's more like, you can't judge someone in the middle of the journey.
Yeah,
Right?
exactly.
Because it's the end result that may differ
Exactly.
it may be very different.
Exactly. That's
Like
what-
someone may look like someone's failing a lot,
Yeah.
and then you realize that the end result was very different because those certain failures define them in a certain way.
Exactly. Like, even for my dad, it took him 18 years to become an overnight minister.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? It's like the line Messi says, man, it took me 17 years, these many days, this, to become an overnight success.
Correct.
But he worked hard for that much time. And I feel the same with my dad. He worked for 18 years as a development officer, gave his time for the people, even though he was doing a job and stuff, and still helped people out in the way he helped them out. So his own karma made him an overnight minister with this story, yeah.
Correct.
In the government, like one of the only people who was from Karyakarta to minister overnight. But it took him those 18 years to make sure that he is in that position to be selected for that.
So I wanted to ask you this, like politics is like a dynamic area. There's continuous shifts and ups and downs. So what's the most unexpected lesson you learned from your father's and brother's experience in the political area?
Thing with politics is now, you will not learn much from someone else's experience.
Why
You have to
would
have
you
your
say so?
you would have to have your own experience in that. Because see, my father's, if today someone has to ask my father for something, they'd ask my father very differently compared to what they'd ask me. How they'd ask me. And my father, like, because my father's been around people his whole life, he has a kind of judgment where he knows, okay, you're bullshitting me and you're not bullshitting me. Right? Which is something I need to learn and garner my experience in. So I believe that in politics, even if my dad has had, say, a couple of bad experiences which he's told me about, I still need to have those experiences to understand. Politics is a game of human resource. So till I'm not there, and I've not had that experience with those many people, and I've not been through like good people and bad people, I will not learn, because I can hear 100 things. But when people actually approach you in politics, everyone is so nice. Like when I was younger and people are approaching me, they're like, हाँ sir, मेरे बेटी के operation के लिए मदद चाहिए, this, that, and I'd make sure I'd call the dean and I'd do this, that, and eventually what I'd realize is nothing had happened. He had come to me for money, but when I'd sorted out his work, because I didn't give him the money in hand, and I'd got his work done, and he never showed up. That's the experience I learned.
You realized that he was bullshitting.
Yeah, he was bullshitting me. And now, today I can be like, okay, this is it. And there has been times that, I was like, okay, fine. And they're like, oh, we need 2,000 rupees right now, sir, right now. You see them and you're like, oh my God. Like, okay, fine, relax, I'll give you. But then you realize that some people bullshit and some people don't. And with this experience of going through so many people, now then with time only you understand who is the right person, who is actually someone you want me to help, and someone who you shouldn't help because they're just doing it for like XYZ reasons,
That's more like, it's something like intuition. Like you said, it develops over time. It's not existent.
Yeah.
But I want to talk about this thing as the General Secretary of the Yuva Morcha in Mumbai. What's like one of the best initiatives that you've led under, led under your watch?
Man, we changed the government.
Okay, how so?
I very, very strongly believe that. So when my term started, we weren't in government.
Correct.
We were in the opposition.
It was Shiv Sena.
It was the Thakre Sena. It was the NCP and Congress together, the Mahavikas Aghadi. We guys did during COVID. Okay, mind you, we guys were on the ground during COVID, day in, day out. I had sent my parents to Goa so that I don't have to interact with them and stuff because of the whole COVID virus. So I could go out and be amongst the people on the field, with the police, with medical workers, with the media, everyone. We also made sure that every scam, every act of corruption that was done during that time, because people were in fear, we brought that out into the public. We did protests. We risked our lives, our families' lives, and not just me. I'm talking about the whole BJYM Mumbai cadre, especially our president Tejinder Tivana. Oh man, that man really led the Yuva Morcha into making sure that this government changes. And I truly believe it, because we did over 30 protests, including a protest on the Shiv Sena Bhavan, which has never been done before. So I would say that, I think the most exhilarating and my most fun work that I did was, we changed the government. Yeah.
This sounds very interesting. Like, we have to dive into the details after the podcast.
Man, we can dive into the details now also, man. What was that? Government was corrupt. Government didn't work for the people. Your CM at that time was not to be seen. He didn't reach office ever. So we had to make sure that someone governs. Our state, our leader Devendra Fadnavis ji was also all around Maharashtra. He was working with the people. He was meeting the bureaucracy. He was meeting the people. He was making sure the hospital staff is well equipped. He was making sure the police is well equipped. So, we as the Bharatiya Janata Party, and especially BJYM Mumbai, we really worked on the grassroots level. And I don't think I've ever worked so much on I was filling in I'll show you videos of it. I was filling in potholes during COVID time. I have filled potholes with cement and this, all those things. And we've done it. And not just me. Under the leadership of Devendra Fadnavis ji, under the leadership of Ashish Shelar ji, and under the leadership of Tejinder Tivana ji, all of us, no matter what background you are from, we were on the ground, we were on the road, and we made sure that people were not scammed, people were not fooled, and people got what they deserved for the taxes they are paying. And eventually, because the previous government just couldn't provide that, we changed the government.
You know, one of the biggest scams at that time, which I read about, luckily it didn't happen in Goa. So I'm from Goa. It didn't happen in Goa, but it came on the news that in other cities there was happening the fake vaccine scam where they were just using glucose injections.
Man, probably. There probably was. But you know, what the center did, like the BJP in the center, making sure that every person in this country got his vaccine, got a double dose of vaccine, and also helped so many countries internationally today.
Correct. We exported a lot of vaccines.
We exported so much, man. So I've never seen, like I told you, I've been among stalwarts my whole life, amongst Congress, NCP stalwarts. Never seen a man like Narendra Modi ji or like a Devendra Fadnavis ji. Like, to not only provide for your people but for others as well, because that is the impression India should have on a global stage. India became a global superpower after Modi ji. And it's amazing to see. Now that I travel abroad, people know India, people respect India. No one can point a finger at India, which is what I am. It's like, because when I used to travel abroad to now when I travel abroad, it's zameen asman ka farak. You know?
You know, even the most interesting part, which I loved about this whole thing, initially I think World Health Organization didn't accept India's vaccine, the one which we made. And then later it was found India's vaccine was way more efficient. So what was happening during that time was India's vaccine was initially not approved by World Health Organization, and later it was found that India's vaccine is much more efficient than the other vaccines. And that set the bar at the global stage.
Exactly. That's why so many countries were taking our vaccines also. No?
Exactly.
No one is going to take something that's not working, that's not effective. So yeah, man, hats off to Modi ji, hats off to Devendra ji, hats off to all the medical workers, hats off to all the police, hats off to all the bureaucracy that worked and got us through COVID times, man.
You know, I wanted to ask you this about like the Meghe Group. You know, you all have had such a huge impact on the education sector. Like you just said, there are 27 different institutions. So can you share a moment when you realized that you all were making realized the group was making a real difference in bridging the educational gaps, especially in rural areas? Because I know you told me about the 2,000 people, but like, what is it like in rural areas or is it in urban areas?
No, most of our schools and colleges are in rural areas. See, my dad's from the rural area, and his dream was to uplift the rural areas. So most of it is in rural areas. Even our medical college, which is in Wardha, every day we have about 100 buses going to different villages, picking up people, getting them to the hospital, treating them, going and dropping them back, all free of cost. Tomorrow we provide, because all our schools, colleges are in rural areas, we're providing jobs. We have teachers, we have rural kids who want to become teachers because now they have a place to go and teach. So we have, when you create a school or an educational institution, you are creating something for the entire society and for everyone in society. Because you have teachers, you need a principal, you need teachers, you need staff, you need non-teaching staff, you need people, you need administrative officers. So every kind of job and every kind of employment that you're looking for can be provided through a educational institution. So I feel like with these educational institutions in all these rural areas have helped uplift their lifestyle. We have 40,000 students and 11,000 employees. So we have 11,000 people that we are employing, which means we are uplifting 11,000 people through the Meghe Group, which is also 70% in the rural area.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That's very fascinating. Well, you know, there's this one question, this is not related to any of this thing, but like how do you balance everything? Because you told me you have like a workout schedule, then there's political work, there's social work, There's the work at schools. How do you do everything?
I have a strict routine, man.
Hmm.
I wake up, I'll do my pranayam, I will eat my breakfast, I'll go to the gym. Post gym, I'll do my business work. Then in the evenings, I'll do my social work and political work. And obviously, like, so there are 4-5 main things that I do, like my gym, my pranayam, my gym, my business, and my politics. And politics means my social service and politics together.
Correct.
So these 4 things I have to get done in the day, and I have to give it its time. But sometimes what happens is, okay, I may have an event in the morning, so then I'll go to the gym in the afternoon. I'll
Correct.
move, depends on the day, I'll move it around and I'll manage it the day before. But I know that these 4-5 things I have to get done in the day, and I have to attend to it, and I'll attend to that. And
Yeah.
that's how I can manage to get everything done.
Yeah, this is something which I need to apply for.
Yeah,
college.
man, like having a routine is such a beautiful thing, and it seems very geeky and nerdy, but it changed my life. And I was very, even I didn't know. I was a young 25, 26. When I was 25, 26, when I was young, straight out of college, wanted to have fun, all over the place. But man, I got my routine in during COVID, because I was like, man, how am I going to not do anything?
Correct.
How can I not leave the house? How can I not go out? You know, how do I do it? So from COVID, I have my books, my diary from COVID, where I had every hour, for every hour I had written something to do, so that I don't lose my mind during COVID. And I carried that same thing on post-COVID as well. Where it's not, now it's not every hour is not detailed, but
You list down the tasks you need to
exactly,
for the day.
yeah, for the
and you
day,
pick it up.
exactly. And I have to finish them, and I do finish them, however late, whether it goes on till 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock. Sometimes when we have like all our Jayantis, like we have Ambedkar Jayanti, or we have any of these or any big social event that is happening, and I've been out of home. I left home at 7 in the morning, gym, work, business, politics, and then I have these events, and I've come home at 3 in the morning. You know, it happens, because you have to meet people, man. In politics, unless and until you meet people and understand
What their problems
what their queries are, you're never going to be able to solve them.
Correct.
You know? So meeting people to me is very important. Meeting my constituents, meeting people who are needy, meeting poor people, going to them. I'm not the kind of guy who will sit in the office and be like, "Ha, are to tela tithun bolo, ani tela tikdun bolo." I don't do that, man. I'm like, I will go there because I need to see. Tomorrow, if someone from the slum comes and he's like, "Okay, we have a drainage problem," how am I going to understand? I don't live in a slum.
You won't be able to judge.
I'll never be able to judge the urgency of the situation unless and until I go there. And when I go there, I see, okay, that whole nala is overfilling. There are rats walking across my feet. Imagine these guys are living here, they have babies here. The urgency of the matter comes to you when you are there with the people, seeing their problems in their environment. So, and I always make sure to do that. You'll always see me in slums, in chawls.
I've actually, when I was reading about you also online, there are like articles, there are like videos which I've seen where you're going out over there and you're interacting with all these people. Which I found really fascinating.
And I'll interact with everyone. I'll interact with a child, with literally like a 4-year-old child, and I'll ask him, "What's up? How are you? Do you have any issues?" Just like that. He'll laugh, I'll give me a high five, and he'll go. I'll carry him. Then I'll speak to a teenager. Then I'll speak to someone my age. Then I'll speak to someone who's like much older than me, like in their 40s, 50s. I'll speak to some 60s, 70s and 80s who are like old, who are senior citizens. So I'll speak to everyone just to understand what it is, so that I can take their queries. I can see what queries need more, what need priorities, what needs more urgency. So I'll take that and then I'll take it back to my office. I'll write down letters.
And you'll make the plans.
Yeah, then I'll make the plans. What do I have to do? See, who does all the work is your bureaucracy, is the BMC, is your PWD. But you are the representatives who has to go to them and be like, "Arey BMC, chal, now do this." Why can't you do it? Your budget is there. It's for the people. Come on, do it now. I'm not going to hear that you're going to do it in 2 months. In that 2 months, what will these people do? Now, if there is a drainage issue, it's in the rain, the water flooding, you're going to tell me you'll do it in 2 months. How can I wait for 2 months when the guy's house is overflowing? With dirty drainage water, there is piss, there is feces going into his house where he's living. It's urgency, right? So that's when you're like, okay, now this is it. Drainage work I have to do today through the BMC. So I'll write a letter to the BMC. One letter I write to the BMC. They don't do the work, I'll straight go to the BMC, meet the ward officer. I'll tell the ward officer, sir, please get it done. Usually it happens over there. Sometimes if it doesn't happen, because of some political pressure here and there, which has happened many times, where our MLAs and all, because you are not from the same party and all, they'll stop even good work that you're doing. Because
you're from a different party.
Exactly. But still, then I'm like, if you're not going to do it, I'm going to get 100 people here, stand outside the BMC and the media will anyways cover that. Then it's your problem. So then you work in different ways where you're like, it's work for the people. The reason you are a BMC officer is to help the people.
Correct.
What I do, because I'm in no post, I'm not a MLA, what I do is I act like a mediator between the people.
Correct, because they need someone. Okay, so what I'll tell you, and this is what I've actually not seen in real life. To a certain extent, I have actually with my maids and all. They've come and told us when they've gone to these offices and all, no one would really listen to them.
They'll make them sit out for 5 hours.
So you need someone who can actually go and talk to them. Which is why
who's someone they listen to.
Correct.
Today, fortunately, I have my father's name. When I go to any BMC or anywhere, for the respect of my father, they'll always meet me. But I need to use that to my advantage to help people, because that is what my father's told me to do.
Correct.
So that's basically what I do as BJY. That's what I do as a politician, essentially.
So what are your future plans ahead in the coming years?
That's a great question, because I do have something very specific that I want to work on. This work is a lot of MLA, people representative work. I want to work in policy, and I want to specifically work in sports policy.
Okay.
So I want to change the sporting environment in India. Today, India in the Olympics has won, how many gold medals?
I haven't heard.
2.
Okay.
We are 1.2 billion people. We've gotten 2 gold medals. I am very proud of Abhinav Bindra and very proud of what's his name? Neeraj Chopra. Very proud of him, man. They really got the country together. But man, look at the potential our country has.
Correct.
For the potential we have, only 2 gold medals is not good enough. But why does that happen? Why can't we create more? And I have done research and I've realized that your ground level infrastructure for sports is just terrible. Unless and until you reach the level of competing in the SAI, which is the Sports Association of India, all other associations don't provide you with that world-class infrastructure that you need if you want to compete against world-class athletes.
Correct.
So my specific goal in politics is to work on sports policy and to make India a hub for sportsmen. Because I have also noticed, dude, the one time India was united means all barriers down. No,
it's always during sport.
Yeah, man, no religion, no race, no color, no Gujarati, Marathi, Sindhi, South, none of everything, taking all of that out and you're just India, was when India won the World Cup in 2011.
And even this time it was a very intense game. Everyone thought
so close, man.
India was going to win it.
Yeah, India should have won. They should have won. People had a lot of expectations, but see, man, it's a game. Winning and losing is a part of the game. We won all the games except that game. So it's not like we had a bad World Cup. We just had a bad game.
Correct.
And how much have I hate losing? It's part and parcel of the game. So,
Correct.
I'm very proud of the Indian cricket team. Very proud, man, because they gave us a lot of great moments. They really made this Diwali into Diwali, man, and we are so happy, and we are very happy about it. But yeah, man, it was a very close. Not actually, it wasn't a very close game. I won't lie, but it's okay, man. You win some, you lose some. There is no this thing, man, towards the team. No ill feeling towards the team, man. We're proud of the boys, and we're glad that we reached to where we reached. So yeah.
So, I wanted to ask you this before we wrap up. What would be your last advice for anyone who's listening or watching this podcast?
Man, my advice to people would be just be real.
Huh.
Be as real as you are. Whether you're doing business, whether you're an athlete, whether you want to be a politician, whether you want to do social service, be real. People, you'll get through life being fake for some time, but eventually people will
Want authenticity.
Yeah, want authenticity. Just be who you are. Be real. Be good. That's what I believe. Especially like we were having the talk of spirituality off
Correct.
camera, and that's all I said. That to me, spirituality also, I define it as not being a dick. If you're a good person, you're a good guy, and you're doing your duties well, you're taking care of your family, taking care of your parents, you yourself are living, you're being honest to yourself, you're living your own life also, man, I think you're spiritual enough.
Correct.
And then you automatically get that understanding of spirituality. And yeah, man, I would also tell people, meditate if you all get the time, run, take time for yourself, man, and be real. That's my most crucial advice to anyone watching this is just be real and be yourself, and you do you, man.
No, I think that's great advice. That's something which I need to look into, because like I told you, sometimes I get nervous a lot.
Yeah.
And then I'm like someone else. What happens to me is I have that fear of judgment which comes in, which is why I don't try to be myself, which is why I'll be very quiet and all, or be someone
But
else.
that's the thing, man. People are gonna judge you your whole life. It's up to you whether you're gonna listen. See, you should take criticism, okay? Especially if it's constructive criticism.
Correct.
It's very important, okay? Take it, learn from it, but don't let it put you down. The minute you feel like this guy who's criticizing me is pushing me down, it doesn't matter. But if he's constructively giving you good advice, telling you, okay, you should do this or you should do that, you should listen to it, understand it, see how it adapts into your life, and apply it. It should be very, like, life isn't as complicated as people make it out to be.
Correct.
It's very simple, and you live in your own shoes. You're your person, so whoever judges you, judging you from their perspective. They don't know
Your
you, they
story,
don't know
what's happening
the
behind the
battles
scenes.
you fought, they don't know the demons you've had, they don't know the good you've done, they don't know how much people appreciate you. They're just going to judge you for whatever thing for that moment. So don't let that affect you. Always take constructive criticism well, and if anyone's being a dick, then you also be a dick, and then tell them to show them the bird.
So it was great having you. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you so
Arjun.
much,
I'm
Ayush.
looking forward to having you again
Yes,
on the podcast
man, it was a
very soon.
great conversation. Thank you so much.